So, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak has been out for a few weeks now, and while it does loads of things really well, there is one thing that stands out the most. The monsters. Obviously. And with 17 new monsters to find and turn into clothes being added, the question to ask is, which of these monsters are the best? Who stands at the pinnacle of monsterdom as the coolest thing to kill since myself? Well, I, being the only validated source left on the planet as to what is and is not cool, am here to put you out of your collective miseries. Forewarning though, despite the above bluster, this is all objective and opinion based, specifically my opinion, as it's correct. To prelude, there are 3 factors that make a good monster, at least in my eyes. Firstly, is the fight cool? Secondly, is their design cool? And thirdly, is their loot cool? With this criteria, I'm sure it's now easy for us to narrow down the monster pool. Yes, Hermitaur is a giant crab, and that's criteria 1 and 2 sorted with ease. But his loot? I wouldn't be caught dead in it, unless I was looking to be bullied by cooler, bigger, and just generally better crab monsters. So, to use an example from Base Rise that fits all 3 criteria laid out, look no further than the big boy, Goss Harag. Simply put, the Yeti from Monsters Inc. got bored of waiting in his cave and has invested his time integrating eye shanks that he intends to show you, very closely. Is the fight cool? Yes, I'd actually say it's more fun than Magnum Arlo, with Big Goss being fun to replay and fight every single time, and I've fought him plenty of times. The ice weapons are cool and the rapid action never really gets old. This ain't to say that Magnum Arlo is bad by any means, but him and Scorn are probably going to get their own video at some point. Is the design cool? A double yes. A giant ice yeti inspired by Japanese Oni that glows red when angry and generally just looks like an oversized goblin. Goss could be top tier off the goblin thing alone. And is Big Goss's loot good? Again, yes, it wears its Japanese themes on its sleeve, quite literally, and honestly is the standout amongst Base Rise's armour and weapons. I have honestly considered playing Greatsword just for Goss Harag's one. Goss Harag is a perfect example of a monster done well, and one I could honestly see being inserted into any other Monster Hunter game and being popular. In simple terms, 10 out of 10, would murder again. To get back to the question at hand, which monster added in Sunbreak is the best? Which one does such a good job of fitting the above criteria that I'm about to glorify it for the next 5 minutes and upload it to the internet? Well, this monster is so iconic, and one that we should be expecting to see in every future installment due to its sheer coolness. Everything about it is perfect. The answer is obvious, and simple. Garangol. Yeah, the Big Monkey Lord itself, by far the most enjoyable and welcome addition to Rise, and Monster Hunter in general. Garangol does almost everything right. Firstly, when we look at some of the best fights in the series, say your Raijangs or Seething Basil Juices, they tend to be fast paced, keep you on your toes and refuse to give you a break. Garangol does some of that, but what he does do, he does very well. The gimmick of giant elemental fists, 10 out of 10, sorry Goss, who needs blades and clubs when you can just punch people? And look at its range of moves, we have Gom Rocks, Gom Smash, Gom Big Rock, and Gom Big Smash. And by far the greatest move in the franchise, the Halo 3 rocket jump. So, criteria 1. Gom smashes it out of the park, much like he smashes me every time I try to hunt him. Fighting Gom is fun, and I can't say I've not enjoyed fighting it once so far. Second criteria then. Aesthetics, looks, design. Is Gom cool? Absolutely. I love the horror theme that the 3 lords have going on, and a giant Frankenstein's monster golem monkey is actually by far one of my favourite additions to the game. Plus, the aforementioned hand thing with the blast hand and wart hand, which gets enhanced when Gom is nearing the end. It's like a Super Saiyan, except, well, it actually still is a monkey, so I guess that still counts. So Gom wins here also. The final criteria then. Is his loot worth it? Regarding Gom's weapons, I'd say absolutely. The designs look cool and I love the whole natural fortress design they've got going on, reminding me of that one Bastion skin from Overwatch, a contrast between the weapons of man and the peace of nature. Likewise, I love the Palico and Palamute armour, with the Palamute being a cool fortified horse thing and the Palico being a literal transformer. The Golem armour, however, is not my favourite, but it's excusable because there is a secret 4th criteria that I failed to mention at the start, and one that bypasses any criticism I might have. Quite simply, monkey. Anyway, 11 out of 10. Give me my goddamn fig juice.
They're delicious. Finally, some good fucking food.
Speaking of the Free Lords, there is an honourable mention in Lunagaran. As said before, the classic horror theming is cool, and a werewolf monster is by extension cool. I was fully expecting another Odegron or a Naga Cougar-esque fight, and instead I got a weird T-Rex shaped wolf that demands you pay attention or literally get clapped. The big dog is one of the best monsters I've spent time fighting, and on a constant quest for its mantle at this point in time, I can't deny the fight is fun. Is it the best monster overall? No, but it is an honourable mention. Malzeno likewise is cool aesthetically, but I didn't find the fight all that fun. Long story short, if you want to succeed, be a monkey. Saying that, however, being a monkey isn't the only way to get in my good books. No, in fact, if you fit the above criteria and make me cry enough trying to hunt you, my respect for you will shoot up. And if you happen to look like a specific level 7 Synchro Black Rose Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, you also get a pass. I am of course referring to Espinas, the slumbering thorn bush that will bury you faster than you can say the word. Jewel. Is the fight good? Oh yeah. Espinas, even on replay, after playing a few hundred times now, is one tough fight, but one that feels absolutely fair. Espinas will punish you for the smallest mistakes, dive at the wrong time that dodge wrong, or not pay attention hard enough, and Espinas will run straight over you. I've had a moment helping two friends who have never fought Espinas before, who stood a bit too close together. That was 2 carts, 1 horn. However, Espinas could not be more telegraphed if it tried, so the only person to blame when you get hit by that fireball, or something like this happens, is yourself. Aesthetically, Espinas is pleasing, looking like a thornier version of Rathalos or Rathian. Not only that, the glowing red mode it has when enraged is especially cool looking. Most entertaining for me is the Espinas temperament, completely uncaring as to anything we do, up until we actually do it. Man's just sleeping, uninterested. It's like the honey badger of the Monster Hunter world. Iceborne. And its armour and weapons? Well, I rate both of them. They look cool, especially the Spinous coil and its cool fawn patterns that I normally rock. Therefore, along with the big monkey man Golem, I have to rate Espinas as one of the best monsters in Sunbreak, though if I had to decide who was first and who is second between the two, I would absolutely struggle. However, for the sake of conclusion, I will actually choose between the two. Ignoring secret factors like monkey, Espinas might just take it, with it just having better armour across the board being the slight factor needed. However, despite Garangol being a monkey, I actually find the fight more entertaining, and so I would argue that Garangol, in my opinion, is the best monster in Sunbreak. Another honourable mention that I didn't really make space to talk about here was Blood Orange Bishaten. It very much is reminiscent of Coral Puki Puki, which took the original gimmick of the monster and made it better, though I hope to see both original Bishaten and Blood Orange Bishaten in future games Capcom. Because if not, it won't just be Garangol throwing hands. You've been warned. If you've somehow made it this far, thank you. Ideally, I do plan on making more Monster Hunter videos, but I also have other videos in mind, and generally am planning on making what I want, really, depending on how I feel. Generally, in mind currently, I've got some indie games in mind. I've also got a specific game from 2012 in mind that has some really cool media and advertisement behind it, which I want to talk about. I also just want to talk about manga in general, because there's loads that I think need more press, so we're going to do that. Hopefully you stick around to watch it, but if you don't, that's perfectly understandable. I've got very little else to say at this point in time. I've just finished editing everything, so, you know, bye.